Now, movie houses are in every laptop, in every household. You can watch anything that you want if you're not careful. So you have to ask yourself, and I might interject that this society is a free society, but the problem is the freedom comes with a huge responsibility. You have to be aware of what is the outcome. Nobody else is going to come and tell you. We are lucky that in the Jamaat we talk about these things. But you have to figure out for yourself. You can figure out by burning yourself and then realizing it, maybe kind of late. But smart people are those who understand and learn from others' experiences and don't get burned. So when you make your choices, you need to be careful as to what you do. So internet, for example, in these days, one of the biggest challenges is all the tools that are available to you. Most all of you have cell phones, many of you have Blackberries and what have you. If nothing else, you have laptops or other computers and so forth at home. So you have access to anything that you want, good and bad. But you have to exercise control. That bad stuff is not for me, I'm not gonna go there. It's there, but I'm not going to click that. You have to make that call. Now, some of the obvious things, and you may say preaching to the choir, but some of the stuff we see, Ahmadi boys or girls putting their pictures on Facebook or MySpace or this and that, you have to ask yourself, what am I gaining by doing that? Why am I doing that? Is that helping me to become more chaste or less chaste? When you call somebody, do you have to have long chat room conversations or text messaging and so forth? If it's something important, yes, by all means. But if you're doing it just for the sake of fun, you need to find a different way of having fun. I'm not telling you what fun you should have, everybody is different, but that's a challenge that you all have. Growing through this society, you have to learn to deal with that. And you can choose not to go in those things. I wish as Ahmadi Muslims, all of us, parents also and the youth, that we are the champions of change. We are here to not only preserve our chastity and values and so forth, but also to help the people around us who are more helpless than we are. Because you and I can still isolate ourselves because, you know, we're Muslims and whatnot, but they cannot. They have to live in the society and behave like everybody. It hurts me to see, and this is for the parents to know, that it is going on. You may not know it, but in your households, the kids are doing it. And perhaps innocently, they're doing it because it's there and just for kicks they do it. They put their pictures out there, boys and girls together. You know, you go to school, we know that you are together, but why do you have to put that picture on internet for the world to see? You have to realize the long-term implication of that. When you are 13, 14, 12, 15, 16, you are not even thinking hard enough. But that's where the interaction between parents and children need to come into play. That right now you're doing it, you're putting that picture, but wait, 10 years from now, when you're about to get married, that picture could be used against you. Somebody's going to exploit that view. You may have totally changed, you may have not meant anything by it, but why put it out there to give somebody an opportunity to exploit? So parents need to work with the children and learn to talk. You may not understand perhaps the technology. I don't understand all the technology, but we need to spend time together and be able to frankly talk about our difficulties. As parents, we have difficulties. Believe me, we have difficulties. And children have difficulties. We need to come together to solve it. We cannot assume that children will go in their own group and figure it out on their own. And we just happy with what we are doing. You know, there are parents who work very hard, moms and dads and so on. On weekends, they want to have some good time, and perhaps they will put up a Bollywood movie or gather with friends and whatnot. That's their affair, they're doing, but they need to see how is it affecting my kids. If you are socializing, going to a household where men and women are together, you may think that I'm old enough now, nothing bad is going to happen to me, but your kids are with you. They're watching you do the same stuff, and they are also mingling in their own age group. So they're at risk. So we need to minimize those risk opportunities. The list can be very long, but conceptually, potentially, the idea is to learn to control and stay away from the risky situations as much as we can. And if we sincerely try, I tell you, we have seen successful stories in this society, in this country, with the children growing up here. It's not a lost cause. It's not that it's impossible. It can be done if you start on the right foot from the get-go. Many parents ignore, and Hazur Hazrat Masih Rabi Rahimahullah Ta'ala used to say very openly and repeatedly that parents just sleep. They don't pay any attention to what's going on, and then when the kid does something significantly bad for the whole world to see, that's when they realize, oops, what have I done? And then they say, okay, Huzur, can you pray for? Huzur said, what can I do now? You've already destroyed your kids. So the young parents, and I was sort of trying to gauge their reaction, that they may say, well, I have nothing to gain at this point. I'm neither in the young group nor the old group. But this is for you to watch. As your children are growing, perhaps you can learn from our mistakes that we have made and help yourself and not repeat those mistakes. So chastity is more than just parda. Chastity is much more than just covering with what you wear and who you call and so forth. You have to convince yourself, is this the right thing for me? Do I want to be of clear mind, clear soul, clear body, good, healthy activities and so forth, or not? That's a choice you have to make. That's the battle you got to have with yourself and decide which way you want to go. Then you need to propose a solution. Don't come to your father or mother and say, okay, I want to go to the prom night. If you know what goes on in the prom night and you know what is right, and Islam does not permit me to do that, you could come to the parents and say, look, I want to go because this is graduation, but I will come back in an hour or 2 hours before the bad stuff starts. And the parents need to know that, yes, they need to let them go for that. They have spent 4 years in high school already, so if you stop them for one night, God forbid, if they were bad, they're already bad. There's nothing you can do to change that. So let them go to this opportunity, but put some limit on it. The better, yes, you can go, but be careful. Come home before the dances start or other stuff starts. Just go, enjoy the healthy affair, and then come back. You don't have to have a partner. You don't have to have a date and whatnot. In this society, nobody forces you to do anything. That's the other good thing, so to speak. Nobody's going to say you must come to this prom night with a friend. You can go as an individual. You can go, 2-3 boys can go together. Not that it will mean something else, but you can go. And same thing, 2-3 girls can say, okay, we'll go together and we'll have a good time and then we'll come back. It caught my ear when they said hugging is common practice in the society. But if you don't hug, what will happen to you? Would somebody throw you out of the school? You can simply say that, look, I'm a Muslim, I'm not going to hug. Parda has a beauty that not only it sort of covers you and protects you and in that way, but it becomes your hallmark. It becomes your identity that I am not that kind of person who's going to hug you. Okay? And as boys, when you do Ghazze Basar, it becomes clear that you're not going to be the one who's going to sit around on the corner of the street and gossip and make comments on every girl that passes by. There's a beautiful hadith to that effect. Holy Prophet ﷺ said, and so this also points out that this is nothing new. Maybe the format is different, but this sort of things were happening all along. So there were some young boys who used to hang out. And this is today's terminology, hangouts, okay? So they would hang out on street corners. And Holy Prophet ﷺ said that you should not stand on street corners like this. They said, Huzur, we have to come together, we have to talk about issues and this and that, so we cannot find a way out of that. So Holy Prophet ﷺ said that if you must stand, then respect the rights of the street. And people said, what are the rights of the street? He said, then when people come by and say Assalamu alaikum, you should say Wa alaikum assalam. And he mentioned a lot of things, and one of them was that preserve the chastity. Means don't make comments, don't look at things that you're not supposed to look at. Don't make comments about things that you're not supposed to make comments about. So now if you go on internet, you're not standing on the street corner, but still hanging out in your chat rooms and what have you, and if you're doing those things, you're hurting yourself. At the end of the day, another key principle to remember is that whatever you do, you will get the reward of that if it's good, and you will get the consequence of that if it's bad. Other people will feel bad, your parents will be helpless and in a painful situation, but ultimately you are the one who are going to reap the reward or suffer the consequences.